What's up, you MULN investors and moneymakers? Welcome back to the channel. Many of you have been wondering and asking about what is going to happen, whether MULN will become an OTC stock, when it's going to happen, what is the process looks like. As you already know that we all were wishing for MULN to stay on NASDAQ. Right now it is on NASDAQ, and there are benefits of staying on NASDAQ. Number one, there can be more eyeballs and more people can buy and sell. International buying and selling can happen as well, and MULN was benefiting out of that, as you already know. When you go on become an OTC stock. Now, if you don't really know OTC is over-the-counter stock, which does not really have a pre-trading or pre-market hours trading and after-market hours trading, and they're not on NASDAQ or NYSE. On top of that, not all the trading platforms will support the buying and selling or the transaction for this particular company if it is not on NASDAQ. So MULN is going to get the deficiency, and we know that, but there are certain rules. I want to talk about more, and I'll do more research and I'll share more information on delisting process for NASDAQ, because there is still some opportunity that MULN can stay temporarily on NASDAQ because of the short selling and illegal short selling market manipulation that has been happening that you already know. Because short sellers are really extremely strong even after the share intel or whatever that MULN is talking about as a company. Take a look right here. Before I go ahead, I just want to tell you that I'm not a financial advisor, nor am a certified professional. I do a ton of research and I like to share with you, and that's my way to give back to the community. Now, remember, all I ask you in return is to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notification bell. I'm here to share the information and my research, hoping that you can make informed financial decision. So make this channel part of your daily due diligence. We talk about a ton of stock, including some penny stocks like MULN, because if you think all in all, MULN is a very popular stock. Take a look, more than 78, close to 79,000 watchers on stock tweets. If you take a look at the trending stock on stock tweets, AMC, GNS, and MULN is at number 3. So it is one of the most active stock that people have been looking after. And MULN has declined in value. If you take a look at 1 month, we are down 42%. 6 months, we are down 98.67%. Year to date, we are down 99.10%, which is a massive slump. Now, if you take a look at 1 year, you can see that we are down 99% as well. At one point, 1 year, we were at $150 and we are right now 65 cents. Now, what is going on? Number one reason, as I already told you, is the short selling activities. And MULN has been suffering from the short sellers, and they're really strong and hitting back MULN every single time they are trying to gain back that $1 price point. Now, why $1 price point is important is because NASDAQ's compliant process for companies failing to meet $1 minimum bid price rule requirement, what NASDAQ will do is they will delist that stock out of NASDAQ. And you're reading this information on NASDAQ's listing center. I will do more research, as I mentioned to you, about delisting process and what can MULN do to sustain their trading on NASDAQ, which seems like the chances are pretty slim, pretty thin chances. But there are still there are still some chance, because if you think about the short selling and illegal activities, we have been seeing that. And again, I do not really have proof, but I'm telling you based on what David Michery, their CEO, told us, right? Now, on their shareholder letter that came out on Friday, if you already don't know, MULN CEO issues the open letter to shareholders because they have been getting a ton of questions. Obviously, because the stock price declined by 99%, and their investors, who are the shareholders, they're also partial owner of the company. When you buy a stock, you have a stake into the company. Might be a very tiny stake, but you still do. And they're asking questions because MULN has been going down and down, even after taking all the precautionary measures. Especially, as you already know, on May 4th, we saw that 1 for 25 reverse stock split, and MULN was above $1 price point, precisely $1.47. That's when it closed. And we saw that after more than 10 trading sessions, it fell down again below $1, 95 cents, so on and so forth. So it again became a pretty deficiency in terms of the bid price rule requirement of $1. Now, if a particular stock goes below that $1 price point, take a look right here on NASDAQ's listing center. If a company trades for 30 consecutive business days below $1 minimum bid price rule requirement, NASDAQ will send a deficiency notice to the company, advising that they have afforded a compliance period of 180 calendar days to regain the applicable requirements. By the way, if you don't already know that, I wanted to tell you that NASDAQ has already given that to Mullen, and they have passed this particular timeline. After that, what you get is the compliance or another grace period. If a such company does not regain the compliance with bid price rule requirement for second 180-day compliance period, that may be available. Now, not every single company gets that. It depends upon certain criteria, certain discretions, and other rules. Companies listed on NASDAQ capital market may be eligible for 180 additional day compliance period if they meet the market value of publicly held shares requirement for continued listing. All other initial inclusion requirements for the company or for the capital market except for the bid price rule requirement and provides written notice that it intends to gain the compliance for that particular bid price rule requirement during the second 180-day compliance period, if effecting reverse stock split, if it's necessary. And Mullen precisely did that. So they already got the second regain compliance, and we saw that happened on May 4th, as I told you. And right here, let's go back to May 4th. So we should be able to see $1.47. Again, when you take a look, let me just go ahead and refresh so we can see that because I've been probably looking at different dates. And if I scroll down, you should be able to see that 1-4-25 reverse stock split that happened on May 4th. And then again, we did the second reverse stock split just to make sure that we stay above and beyond this compliance requirement on August the 11th. So August 11th, we were at $1.01, but we did not really sustain. It dropped back just within 3 trading sessions. So 1, 2, and 3, it closed below $1 price point. And we saw the early signals because the same day we saw from $1.08 to all the way to 87 cents as our low. So it was pretty clear that Mullen will fall below that $1 price point. Now, stay tuned and remember to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell because I'll be doing more analysis on what the delisting process looks like, what the appeal process will be able to do for Mullen, if at all. Now, again, I'm not an advisor, but I just like to research, and I would also like to share that information with you. Now, with that, similarly, if a company is listed on NASDAQ's global select market or global market company that is unable to comply the bid price requirement for another 180-day compliance period, may be transferred to NASDAQ capital market. What are the options? Now, Mullen has already exhausted most of its options. How does a company regain the compliance with the minimum bid price requirement? The best way is organic price growth. Now, in Mullen's case, it is not possible because we do not really see any symptoms that it can regain the compliance or it can regain that $1 organically. Now, what is organically? The way it works is if there is more buying happening within the stock price, it will eventually go up. We saw that Mullen just jumped up from 73 million in volume to 232 million in volume. And we did see that Mullen went to 39 cents. Same day, it went to 88 cents. Again, it was dead cat bounce once again, according to my personal thoughts and opinion, that we went pretty close to $1.96. Can we go back to $1? Again, we do not really see a signal that can happen. Couple of reasons. Number one is definitely the short seller. Number two is company is suffering from some trust issues, and at the same time, in general, what we also see is the cash opportunity, the cash on hand is also pretty thin for the company, and they've been burning cash. And this is a cash burning business, by the way, don't get me wrong. But we saw that in June 2023, the quarter ending, we saw company's net income was negative $308,000, right? $308 million. And the revenue was $308,000, right? So revenue is low. Net income or cash burning is pretty high. In Q1 2023, very similar situation, $114 million negative net cash income. But the good thing right now is Q1, they did not really have any revenue. So the revenue is zero. And right now we see $308,000 in revenue. So there is something to report that Mullen has. But is $300,000 going to work and save the company? Probably not, and which is where all the discussion is. So what did they do? Number one, what they tried is to regain the compliance. Does NASDAQ accept reverse stock split as a method of regaining compliance for the minimum bid price requirement? The answer is yes. So NASDAQ views reverse stock splits as the acceptable method for regaining the compliance. If a company determines to implement a reverse stock split, it'll need to log in and they'll need to follow the process, at least give the notification at least 15 days prior to the implementation of the reverse stock split, get all the board of director approval, make sure that they have a sign off from their investors and shareholders, so on and so forth. And if everyone says yes, they can do they can do reverse stock split, which Mullen did once, did twice, could not really sustain. So now they are again back to square one. They are back to deficiency below $1 price point, precisely 65 cents price point. So stay tuned. I'll tell you what the delisting process is looking like and what you should be looking out for. Now, number one thing to note for Mullen is it's a pretty strong community stock. Right now, there are 79,000 almost watchers on stock tweets. It is one of the most active stock on stock tweets for many, many days, if not months. So AMC number 1, GNS number 2, Mullen is at number 3 at the moment, but it's part of the top 10 stock. And I've been covering this stock on my channel as well, and many times I mention stock tweets because that's how you gauge how much activity in the stock is happening, what are the eyeballs doing. But all in all, people are super worried about Mullen and their stock price point. What their CEO told us is right here. They shared an open letter, so which is right here. This is the open letter from CEO, Mullen CEO David Michery, as you already know. If you did not really see this letter, I'll just tell you really quickly the highlights of the letter. They just came out on Friday and around the market close, or right before the market close, by the way. With that, what they mention is there are many communication has been addressed to me personally. Now, when the stock goes down, of course, the CEOs or their executive and their management will take the hit, right? So they shared an open letter and they mentioned the company has received numerous requests to respond to ongoing decline of our stock. Now, many of these communications have been addressed to me personally. This is David Michery, their CEO, is telling us with less than kind, sometimes threatening statements. As CEO of the company, I take all shareholders' concerns seriously. One of my primary responsibilities is to execute company's business plan, and as evidenced by multiple prior communication to the public, the company continues to make significant strides in that regard. I'll summarize some of those at the end of this statement, says their CEO and chairman, David Michery. I'm very disappointed by the performance of our stock, of course, because we saw that the stock every single time goes, the reverse stock split goes down, reverse stock split goes down, 99% stock down. That is concerning. As I previously publicly stated, I did not believe that the trading price of our stock evenly close resembles where the company's actual value is. And they have been telling us multiple times, as an evidence to that, regardless of meeting the significant corporate milestone, while the stock traders continues to place downward pressure on the stock, causing the price to fall. Of course, when people sell more than buy more, that means there is more supply than the demand, and the stock price will go down. The CEO says, I previously announced that the company engaged with Share Intel and the parties to investigate what I suspect to be unlawful trading practice in stock. We are assembling all the data received to date and should have something to announce in upcoming days. So there are some speculations. Again, I do not really have any insider information, nor I'm an insider, nor I'm invested in stock at the moment. But we are assembling all data received to date and should have something to announce in the coming days. I'm extremely frustrated that the hard work of Mullen dedicated team and significant momentum success achieved to date are overshadowed by unrealistic values attributed to our stock. The company and I have demonstrated our commitment and successful for our stock purchasing through the previously announced share buyback program. So as you already know that they have announced this $25 million buyback program, and the company is telling us that they believe that the stock is significantly undervalued. But the point is the company is losing money every single quarter. And there are two issues, right? There are short sellers, and then there is less confidence because company has 200 and some change million dollars. So to 200 plus million dollars company has, but if they keep burning, at one point company will need more money. Now, if there are no investors who can lend the money to the company, it is going to be a trouble. So we'll see what happens. I have to be personally purchase this stock, demonstrating my unwavering confidence within our company, and I remain committed to this company's business plan and measures for disposal, eliminate unlawful trading practice. With that, so that's where it's coming from, right? Like, we are seeing that we are assembling all the data received to date and should have something to announce in the coming days, and we'll see what happens. But will that save Mullen out of NASDAQ? Probably not, because NASDAQ will consider their rule requirement. Otherwise, they'll have to just listen to every single company, and I don't know how the process works. That's why I'm going to do further analyze the delisting process for NASDAQ, and you want to watch out for that tomorrow. With that, I wanted to mention that next week is going to be crucial for a couple of reasons. Number one, Mullen can announce some of the sensitivity around the declining stock price, and they can also send some of this PR and notification that they have been talking about with the upcoming days, some announcement from share intel or the data that they have received and what they're going to do about it. So stay tuned, watch the full video again tomorrow, because I'll be sharing more information. Till then, take care. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out tomorrow, because there might be light at the end of the tunnel, maybe some temporary stuff that they can go through, appeal process, so on and so forth, that I want to cover. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching once again.